Hey, my dear subscribers, how do you like the update? Have you pulled the Phantom Shogun with tunas and butt blasting yet? If not, don't worry, I'm about to spill all the tea on this badass Akumori. Let's go. Friends, subscribe to our channel and smash the like button to not miss out on new videos. We truly value each and every subscriber. I'll be happy to see everyone. Also, want to remind you to kick off the raid journey with a team of cool champions. Follow the links I've left in the description. Go through the registration and follow my instructions to get max bonuses for a start. One of 3 champions, Lightsworn, Konoru, or Jotun, plus Deacon Armstrong, Shaman, Lady Quilen, Silver, and resources. If you encounter any problems, hit me in the comments and I'll lend a hand to each of you. All right, let's get back to business. So without further ado, let's talk about Akumori. Well, what gives us the new boss? First, let's take a peek at this Akumori. This badass dude's in charge of upgrading your attributes with these extracts. So now you can confidently farm these extracts for your accessories. Here he is, our endgame boss. So let's break down his skills. What can he do and why is he so damn powerful? A1 is an attack on the enemy. The priority target is always a champ under an enfeeble debuff. Each hit fills Akumori's turn meter by 20%. A2 is an attack on the enemy too, and priority is given again to an enemy under an enfeeble debuff. After the attack, he strips all enemies of their buffs, except the initial target. Then he places a debuff spread effect. This way, an enfeeble debuff spreads from the target on all enemies. Plus, he applies a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on all enemies that had an enfeeble debuff placed on them. And if there are no enemies under enfeeble debuffs at the end of this attack, he places an enfeeble debuff on the enemy with the highest crit damage for 3 turns. This enfeeble debuff cannot be removed, resisted, or blocked. Wow, just amazing! With A3, Akumori attacks the enemy with the highest crit damage. The priority is on the one not under the effect of a stone skin. Before the attack, he places a block passive skills debuff on all enemies for 3 turns. This debuff cannot be removed. After the attack, he applies an enfeeble debuff on the target enemy for 3 turns. This debuff can't be removed either. And his A4 is an attack on the enemy. Again, the priority is the hero under an enfeeble debuff. If the shade counter reaches 10, this attack will ignore block damage buffs. If it hits 20, it ignores unkillable buffs. If it's 30, it ignores ally protection buffs. And if it hits 40, it ignores shield buff. Admit this, the list is impressive. Every hit inflicts an enfeeble debuff. And the more enfeeble debuff, the more weak hits. And the more weak hits, the more an enfeeble debuff and more damage you get. Let's go through Akumori's passive skills. First up, we have Purge the Shadow. When an awakened champ uses his skill against Akumori, the shade counter decreases. The shade counter decreases according to the level of the awakened champ, ranging from 1 to 6, depending on how many stars you've already painted. Now, Almighty Immunity. It's the classical description of immunity to everything in the game. Next is Almighty Strength. It's a defense against skills that exceed the boss's max health. You can only get 10% of Akumori's max health when attacking him. And behold, the passive Awakened Weakness. It decreases the damage inflicted by the boss for each awakening level of the target. And it increases the damage received by the boss for each awakening level on the attacking champ. So what can we conclude already? We're in for some hardcore soul stones farming, my friends. So how to defeat this killer machine, Akumori? Until level 15, you can slug your way through just with your champs. Yeah, it ain't gonna be quick. But if you got 2 badass healers, you'll make it to level 15. After that, you gotta switch on your brain and figure out how to beat that crazy sushi freak. Here are a few options to help you out. The first and the trickiest is to take a champ with a taunt buff and try him on this tank and the champs who ain't enfeebled yet. But let me tell you, the most kick-ass hero in the game right now is Ambassador Lethalin. But I don't think everyone's got him, but damn, I'm jealous if you do. Alright, which heroes would be the bomb for smashing this boss? If you manage to snag yourself a Lethalin, then you can freely go through all the dungeon floors. But what if you ain't got the luxury of playing with a gazillion shards? Well, here's the next tactic. Grab yourself Death Knight and put a stone skin set on him. Then, pull a champ who can remove debuffs more or less, and a healer into your team. The catch is to give Death Knight the minimum of speed, so he can gobble up all the damage. But again, until you reach level 15, you can pull any champ you fancy. 'cause this way you have lower level and lower speed, and thus you'll go through. Also, there's another kick-ass hero for this dungeon, Ninja. He burns the boss's HP really well. Give him Brimstone, and now you get yourself extra damage. Want some poisoners? Zavia or Theodore will fit perfectly. But keep in mind, if Akumori has at least 10 points in Shade Counter, the poison is useless at all. Also, watch out! Once you hit level 15, don't use any counterattacks. Every weak hit on the boss is going to give him a crazy boost that'll wipe out your team in a single hit. As for your main damager, I recommend Septimus, Taras, or Vlad. In a nutshell, this is all you need to know about the new dungeon. If you don't give a hoot about how many flasks you'll snag, then feel free to go through the boss until level 15. But if you're brave enough to venture further, don't forget the healer, tank, stone skin, and damager. Well, that's all for now. The boss has just been released, so we'll be on the prowl for other combinations. But if you've got some cool ideas in your mind, something you're itching to share, drop it in the comments. That was me, Met, 2GT. See you later, guys.